Hello and welcome. My name is Space Muffin, and this is the Void Strategy. So today we're going to be talking about Arthas, aka the Lich King. Before we get started, guys, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, guys. We're so close to 300 subscribers, and don't forget to leave a positive comment and join our Discord. We have an amazing Discord community. So Arthas, first and foremost, he's got some really amazing skins. I've unlocked all of them. As far as the bundle goes, I don't think it's necessary. I think you can get away with just buying the $20 bundle, but instead of the $60 bundle. That's just my opinion. But yeah, these are really sick skins. Blizzard has been very generous in this event. But anyways, going back to the Lich King, I have a really great deck here, and I'm going to be testing it in PvP with you guys. So let's go and go over it. So these are his stats at this level 26, and he's not ultra tanky, but he does have a lot of good things going, especially with the attack speed isn't terrible. His speed is pretty decent, as well as the radius, his frost radius. These are his traits. So Frost, really good. Remorseless Winter, really good. Lichborne isn't as good as I would like it to be, but it's okay. Armored, great. Army of the Dead, really good trait. So now let's get into his leader ability. Soulshatter, while deployed, frosted enemies die instantly when taking any damage below 20% health. So that's really amazing. And then, of course, these are his traits. So the first one is Death Grip. Periodically pull a ranged enemy into melee range and stun them for 2 seconds. So that's really great. Necrotic Plague, Soulshatter also applies poisoned to enemies. Oh, sorry, it applies to poisoned enemies. So if they're poisoned, then they'll die, at 20% or below. And then, of course, we have Purgatory. On death, become invulnerable for 5 seconds. If the target dies, return to life with 25% health. So, in my humble opinion, literally, Death Grip is the best, followed by Necrotic Plague, closely followed by Purgatory. And you'll see why in a moment. And so, yeah, let's go and get into the deck. So we're going to go with this particular deck. I'm going to show you 2 decks today. First, we're going to do a Death Grip build. So obviously, we're going to have Arthas with Death Grip. We're going to have our Ghoul with Bone Shield. We're going to have the Griffin Rider with Mighty Throw. We can have here Blizzard with Cold Snap. We're going to have Defias Bandits with Picklock. We're going to have our Quillbore with Tunnel Vision. And then we are going to have our Spiderlings with Bolted Carapace. Now, some people might be thinking, well, why not do Cave Dwellers? We're really doing this for that stun. That's really what this is about. We're really trying to get that stun off. So I'm going to go and demonstrate this in some PvP. Awesome, guys. So this isn't meant to be like a meta-breaking, PvP deck. Look how cool those towers look. But this is just designed to show you kind of like the gist of what you do in this particular situation. So what we're going to do is we like to spread out just a little bit. And I like to back up the Lich King with this guy here. These guys are going to spawn. Boom. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to do this. Just to give us a little bit. Okay, yeah, so he's got the bolt out. So not a big deal. Let's go ahead and put out another Arthas. Let's put out another one of these dudes. So we got that going. Okay, things are looking good. And then what we do is we got to really pop the flying units. Okay, very good. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we obviously want to mine. We have pretty much control over the environment as far as everything is concerned. Put out Arthas a little bit too soon. That was my bad over there. But as you can see, we just kind of have our guys, and then we just roll up. So my mistake on that one. And then, of course, we can also put out our Blizzard. So Blizzard also hits really well in this deck. Hits really well. So we got to keep the pressure on. And how we're going to do that is we're going to back up the Lich King like that. So cool. Awesome. So the thing about the Lich King, Arthas, I think that he's a very good mini. Not quite as good as Baron Rivendare. Very similar, though, with what he does. And I think the key with this mini is really creating a situation where he fits your playstyle, if that makes any sense. And not everybody's going to have the same playstyle, right? So these guys are all here. They're doing their thing. And, we just, we pop everybody. And then, okay, so they're doing their thing. Very good. We can kind of hopefully roll up and do this. I timed that poorly, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and back some people up. Okay, I guess it kind of worked out because he was distracted, so... And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the gold here. Okay, we're looking good. He's coming up, so this is perfect. So... Oh yeah, this is great. Super good. And as you can see, the Death Grip really is just completely bonkers against Jaina. So not a big deal. I see what he's trying to do, but it's not going to work. So there's a lot of things. What I like about this mini is there's a lot of diversity, and obviously as they add more synergistic minis, he's only going to become better. Yeah, it's super cool. Like, he just looks sick. Everything's so cool about this mini. But as you can see, plopping off that Blizzard also applies Frost as well. So one of the things about Arthas, quite simply put, is, people say, okay, well, what about Banshee? Like, you don't really have to worry too much about Banshee. That's why you have your Quillbore here. You have, like, other dudes, like, able to kind of help you out. And so the main thing you got to worry about is flying units. So that's why we have our Griffin Riders as well as our Blizzard here to kind of deal with that. So Griffin Riders start taking them out. And then we can do that. We can do this. So we have a nice little legion rolling up. Now, once again, there's so many ways you can build this deck. Some people, they do like to put the... So at this point, they've just given up. So some people like to put the Worgen in the deck. I like the Quillbore a little bit better, but it just depends on your playstyle. Awesome, guys. So the next deck we're going to be showing you is going to have the Necrotic Plague talent. Soulshatter also applies to poison enemies. So let's talk about this. Plague Farmer, one of the worst minis, has gotten a buff. And I think he is pretty good in this deck. So we're going to be going with Splashing Pumpkins, range increased by 1, and double the splash area. So super good. We're going to, of course, have our Griffin Rider with Mighty Throw. We are going to have our Ghoul with Bone Shield. We are going to have the Spiderlings with Bloated Carapace. We are going to have the Safe Pilot with Coming in Hot. You can also go with Gnomish Cloaking Device. In fact, we're going to go with Gnomish Cloaking Device. And then, of course, we're going to have our Defias Bandits with Picklock. So, here's the key here, guys. Actually, I'll explain. Let's get into PvP. So, you got to be able to size up your enemy. It's going to be Arthas versus Arthas. So, what we need to do is we got to we got to figure out where he's going to play his Arthas. That's kind of the key here. So, hold... Okay, he's waiting for us to play our Arthas. So what we're going to do is do our standard strategy, but then we put the Plague Farmer up in the back, and then we grab the chest. He's got the Voodoo on deck, so we got to take care of that. Very good. Boom, Voodoo stunned. And then let's go ahead and start mining. We have a nice little party. So as you can see, the Plague Farmer just kind of chills in the back, just poisoning everything. And it's really good. Now, obviously he can be popped by a lot of things, but it's a really, really fun synergy. Awesome. So I want to show some more of that Plague Farmer synergy here. So hopefully this guy actually plays here. Let's see what we got going. Okay, so let's see. Okay, he's doing nothing. So let's go ahead and do 1. Let's do 2. We're going to get these guys going over there. We're going to get the Plague Farmer doing his thing. So he's got the Plague Farmer too. Plague Farmer's really good. So let's go ahead and we gotta take care of his Plague Farmer. We gotta get rid of that guy. So okay, so he's got the interesting talent here. Let's go ahead and do that. Those guys are over there. Okay, so yeah, the Eagle is super good. He pops an Eagle, and then the ability goes off. Okay, let's go see what he's got going over here. Got to get rid of the Plague Farmer. That's kind of the key here, is get rid of that darn Plague Farmer. And then do kind of an assault from behind, and we should be good to go. So a lot of people don't like the Ghoul. I like the Ghoul. A lot of people say the Ghoul's pointless. I like the Ghoul. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about some basic things. So a lot of people, you know, like in the comment to my last video, it's like why do I run Chain Lightning? Now I'm not running Chain Lightning in these Arthas decks, but you have to find your playstyle, right? Like, you know, yes, you can net deck all day. You know, I can give you ideas, but ultimately you have to find out what works for you. That's kind of the key here. And then once you do that, you have to find a strategy and a system that allows you to make things work for, like I said, for your playstyle. Now, look at here, his ability spawns the skeleton. So that's super cool. Like, it also does work with the Griffin Riders, so that's really amazing. And then we're able to kind of start to overwhelm him as we start to control the board. So I like the... so some people say, well, why do you run the Ghoul? The Ghoul, like, Arthas isn't ultra tanky, contrary to popular belief. So I run the Ghoul to just kind of be a little bit of a front tank. You know, so like his minis can, you know, pop the Ghoul before they pop Arthas. And then, you know, we can start to get that aura, and then the Plague Farmer goes off. Awesome, guys. So there you have it. 2 awesome decks with the Lich King. Like I said, there's so much you can do with this mini. He's very diverse. And he's only going to get better. Like, the more minis that come out, I think he's going to get better. Because, once again, he doesn't have the speed of Baron. But this ability, Army of the Dead, is really useful. You know, he's got a lot of, you know, really great synergies, right, with him. So, really good, guys. Really fun mini. The event was super fun. Maybe I might do a video on how to do the missions. But as you can see, I've completed all the rewards. And yeah, definitely, guys, unlock all these skins. Like I said, you don't need to buy the $60 bundle. Blizzard just gives it away. So, awesome, guys. So yeah, don't forget to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, guys. And we will see you in the next video.